Separated by cosmic cabinets, Brandon and Logan are broadcasting the Breakdown Podcast live using their telepathic powers. My name is Brandon Miracle, broadcasting live from the Break Room Arcade. If you look south of me in the video version, you'll see the wonderful face of Logan Welliver broadcasting live from a green room.
A green background, but not a green room. I guess it could be any room I wanted to if you applied the right filter to it.
It could be. Next time, we'll talk about where you want to be, and we'll make it happen. So it's been a while since we've done one of these. I want to say almost a month, so about 3 weeks since the last Breakdown podcast. This is the 40th episode of this series. Everyone give yourselves a round of applause.
I mean, it's certainly like an accomplishment. I think the amount of podcasts that go 40 episodes, I mean, there's probably a lot that stop before then.
Well, I think when we first started, Paul told us that the major statistic was that the majority of podcasts, fizzle out by episode 7.
Right.
And okay. We have made it quite a distance past that.
Yeah, and 2 separate podcasts too, so...
Yeah, I mean, we're past the 1-year anniversary of doing this show. That's something we kind of glossed over, but it deserves a pat on the back.
Yeah, we've been at it. We have our ups and downs, but like certainly we keep coming back to it, and we're always like, okay, this is something that I want to do, and that's a good place to be, and that's where we're at.
And as we always do at this show, we like to start out talking about a little bit about what we've been up to, because it's been a while since we've checked in with y'all. Logan, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you first.
Oh.
What has been going on in the life of Logan Welliver? Loaded question.
Honestly, a handful of things. Obviously, like, I've been adjusting to my new job and waiting for certain things to come through with that. Insurance stuff, that's always fun. I'm planning on buying a keyboard here pretty soon, probably going out tomorrow. Do it. We'll see if it actually happens. And then I have been reaching out to be a little bit more social, right? I've been quite the sad boy for the last few weeks, and I'd like to turn that around a little bit. And so my multifaceted approach includes trying to find people to be friends with and to have community with, even outside of this, obviously, because I need people. I need people. I've been very antisocial and I don't like it. So I'm looking forward to the spring. Spring's coming up again. I've gone on some walks on some of these like warmer days, and
my suggestion is to find the local Pokemon Go scene.
The local Pokemon Go scene. See, that's something that'll actually be happening too, because like once it's warm, I'll be outside. I'm getting a new to me phone, a hand-me-down phone, that will be able to play Pokemon Go. My last one could, but it really struggled and it was really obnoxious to try to. So I just didn't. And so that will be possible. I don't know, just looking for like-minded people to discuss ideas about, and people who are really interested in making the world a better place. People who are interested in actually debating ideas, as opposed to just shooting down anybody with a differing opinion. And sometimes it can be hard to find some of those people, but little by little, you find things. And I think it's turning out right. Who knows what'll happen in 2019? But I think 2019 is the year. I don't know what it's the year for, but it's the year.
Well, I hope that's the case for me as well. I have not been in the best state of mind in the last month and a half to 2 months. Today has been especially hard for me, and I don't even really know like what it all stems from, but it's been getting worse, and I've noticed it happening day over day. That my position is getting worse. My mentality has been getting worse. and it's starting to come to a head, and I can feel the breaking point coming. It won't be long before I've completely had it.
Yeah. This is like one of those moments, and I've been talking about it, how I'm like, I'm just ready to go and like receive outside help, right? I'm just waiting on those resources to come through so I can utilize those and get myself to a place where I'm productive, and I'm a little bit happier, and I'm just less sluggish all the time. So it's coming. It's coming. And I feel like the same could be said for like a lot of people at this time of the year. I think part of it's just like the fact that we're dealing with this weather. We're dealing with the lack of sunshine.
Right.
And so, just making a conscious effort, be like, oh, well, it's getting warmer. Okay, time to get outside, time to do some exercise, time to get some sun. To get in the sun is like so good, for your mood. And so I think we're on the up and up at this point. I think we made it through.
I certainly hope so. For me, I think it extends beyond seasonal depression. Uh,
Oh no, certainly. Right.
and I don't see particularly a light at the end of the tunnel right now, and that is a bad sign for me because I've been down this road before, and last time it
Mhm.
wasn't pretty, and I'd like for that to not happen again. Um,
Yeah.
I know my wife has been going through therapy, and she's been seeing a psychologist, and that's been working out really well for her. Unfortunately, those types of services are not cheap.
Hmm.
And so far that's kind of what's keeping me away from it. 'Cause I'd like to get involved in that kind of stuff and seek out self-help, but right now it's just not available in a way that I
Right.
wish it was. Um yeah, that's kind of where I've been. But in other news, like I do have a new piece of technology I've been using to manage my diabetes. This is something that has been uh something I've been really looking forward to. It's called the Dexcom. This is something I
Yeah.
got shortly after I was diagnosed with diabetes, back when my insurance actually covered it, and then I went for many years where they did not. And I'm finally back to a position again where I can get it. But basically, the
Mhm.
Dexcom attaches to my belly, and it is wirelessly transmitting my blood sugar to another device every 5 minutes. It connects to my phone as well as my Tandem T-Slim X2 insulin pump, specifically this pump, which is the reason my doctor referred it to me. Uh,
Mhm.
and basically, there's some functionality in the T-Slim pump that when my blood sugar, reaches a certain point, or if it predicts that within the next 30 minutes my blood sugar will go low, it will cut insulin delivery and suspend that until it deems it safe again to continue to administer insulin, because insulin will decrease my blood sugar, and if my blood sugar is already low, that causes hypoglycemia, and hypoglycemia is not good.
Right. Right.
So it's been kind of interesting. On my insulin pump, there's a graph that shows my blood sugar throughout the day because of the Dexcom, but it also has these areas of red that will that that stands for the time that my pump suspended itself because of low blood sugar. And I've seen like 30 minutes to an hour, 4 or 5 separate times a day where it's doing that.
Hmm.
It's been kind of nice because I haven't had to manually treat myself.
Right.
I haven't felt like I've needed to eat anything. My blood sugar just kind of comes up because I'm not getting insulin anymore.
Right. Right.
It's just it's happening a lot more frequently than I ever would have anticipated it would. So it's kind of an eye opener at the same time.
Hmm.
But it's been really nice. My blood sugar has been better just because I always have access to it. I literally tap
Right.
my phone screen and I swipe it to the left and I see what my blood sugar is.
Yeah. That's convenience.
It very. So yeah, that's been super nice to have. I went from paying $985 a month to 55. for the Dexcom. I think that's a pretty nice difference. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think?
that's a significant difference.
And another thing with the Dexcom that I'm pretty excited about, the T-Slim X2 is getting an update in the summer that will effectively do the opposite of what it does now. So what it has now, they call it the Basal IQ. This, I believe, they call the Connect IQ, and the Connect IQ will administer more insulin if it finds my blood sugar is trending higher to counteract the imbalance. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's coming as a free update to the pump I have in the summer, so I won't have to buy anything new, and that's pretty exciting to me. And I think they're just waiting for FDA approval before they can release it, and they anticipate it'll be by summer 2019. So, kind of waiting out
Mhm.
for that. Once I have that, I think my life will significantly change.
Yeah, because at that point you're full bionic pancreas. Yeah.
That's essentially where I'm at.
Yeah.
I know the next model is supposedly going to have, the glucose administration as well.
Hmm.
And at that point, that's like full organ replacement.
Okay. Okay.
Now, the liver is what gives you glucose if you're low, and obviously I still have mine.
Hmm.
Um, but this would have all of that functionality in one device. So yeah, technology is entering interesting stages in terms of diabetic treatment. I know this is a video game channel, but I like to talk about this stuff because I don't really have anyone to talk to about it.
I bet there are diabetics in video games as well. So
Yes.
this is relevant.
Yeah, and it's exciting to me because it changes the way I basically live my life altogether. I went from poking myself upwards to 9 or 10 times a day, down to none. I don't poke myself anymore. I I don't use needles. I don't check my blood sugar manually because I don't have to. And that is one of the most incredibly freeing feelings I've had in years. I
Yeah, I can imagine because like I don't have to deal with that at all. Like as far as I know, I'm not going to be diabetic at any point. Um
very unlikely at your age.
yeah, right. So like and I don't have to deal with like that reality. So like that's just like an inconvenience that like doesn't exist for me, right? And that was kind of just robbed from you, so to speak. And now like you're trying to get back to that point, but like even then, like even if you have all this stuff, it's not like it's exactly the same. Even though that obviously takes a lot of the stress off of dealing with it, because it's just, oh yeah, let the computer handle it.
I want to apologize to our chat. I haven't been interacting with you because it hasn't been popping up in the stream. So my chat box is broken. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize you were here. Um, yeah, my bad. But yeah, I mean, it can be difficult to talk to people who don't deal with these things, and we've talked about that before. You once shared a video with me with a YouTuber who is experiencing like chronic pain, and she struggled with talking about that with people because she didn't want to feel like she was complaining all the time, and I
Yeah.
don't want to feel like that either. But I gotta get it out.
Oh yeah, no, I mean we all do. And the best part and kind of a sad part about it, but also a good part about it, is that everybody else kind of struggles too. So chances are like if you kind of open up to people, you'll find people who are kind of in the similar position. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but they can relate to a certain amount of that struggle. And I think that's really what life is about. It's people struggling together, right? Because struggling is inevitability. And the best way to go about it is if you just kind of help each other out. Life is a little better, bit better if you do that.
I see that our chat, specifically Santi, said that if there's anything we can do just as a supporting community to ease any of that tension, let us know, both of you. We've sincerely appreciate that because, even like in the cases, Logan and I have each other and we talk about these things quite frequently, it still can often feel very lonely. Like, so just having that support from people we don't even really know that well is a feeling I can't quite describe. Feels
Yeah.
good. I'll say that. Um, let's see. In addition to that, just been kind of going through the motions of everyday life, I guess, right? Going to
Yeah.
work, trying to stay afloat.
Just trying to survive.
Uh,
Little by little, we do it.
one thing that I did is I bought a new chair,
Oh.
and if you're watching the video version, you can see it. It's from our affiliate. Wait, which way is my head going? See that? OP Seat. This is the OP Seat Master Series gaming PC racing chair. I got it in red and black because it matches my HyperX headphones, as well as my keyboard, my mouse, and my desktop. It matches all of them. There was purple and yellow, and I thought about getting one of those. I worried that the yellow would possibly key out with my green screen, so I decided not to do that. And then I worried that the purple would blend in with the background, so I opted against that as well. So I got red. But at least it matches all of my gear. This has been a really incredibly comfortable chair. Like, I can sit in it for a really long time without any noticeable back pain. There's like a lumbar cushion that's been surprisingly helpful. I didn't realize how much that was going to change the way I sit, but I sit up straight a lot now rather than slouching or crossing my legs on my chair, doing that. I sit and it feels good.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of like crossing my legs and then also either like leaning back too much or just like I don't know, or I'll like the slouch. My butt will start to slide off and then I'll get down here. Where we at. So
They did not send us this chair, by the way. I decided to buy this of my own accord because I've been looking for a chair for a long time, and we are affiliated with them. And I thought, what better way to show my support of OP Seat than owning one of their Master Series chairs? If you want one of your own, you can get $10 off your own purchase through us by clicking the affiliate link in the description below. It automatically applies the coupon to your cart, and you can buy any of the colors of the Master Series chairs or their bigger sized Grandmaster Series chairs if you're looking for that instead. Once again, thanks to OP Seat for making my butt feel nice.
that's certainly a tagline right there.
For making my butt feel nice, right? Moving on from that, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a link to our Patreon as well in the description. You can donate for as little as $1 a month. We are currently going through a reformatting of that. We will give you more information as we go on, but the reward tiers for 1 and 5 are probably going to stay just about the same. It's really those higher end tiers that are probably going to be edited a little bit. Just wanted to give you an update as far as that goes. Or if you want to join our Discord server, keep up the conversations with us. This week we're deciding to highlight the Pokemon channel. We have the Pokecord bot installed, which basically allows you to pick a starter Pokemon, contribute in chat, catch, level up, trade, and battle everybody else in the Discord. It's a really neat little system developed by one dude, and he's constantly updating it, and we've had a lot of fun with that. Just a Pokemon shows up in chat at random, and then everyone races to capture it. To capture it, you have to know what its name is, and that seems to be a common problem for most of the members of the Discord server. Myself included. There are a lot of Pokemon, guys. That's a lot of names. 800 and some odd Pokemon to remember. I can't handle it. And I guess that brings us to videos, but I've got very little to report on as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, we got I mean there's things happening, right? But nothing like we will get some keys for some games. We'll do a review. But in terms of like outside of like producing like a podcast, and then doing like streams, like it's really a big question of like what do we do? And I think like for me, it's like, oh, where do I go with this? And it's a lot of ruminating without a lot of action, right? And I think compounded on the fact that we deal with the things that we deal with, it makes it that much harder to dedicate that time and that energy
Right.
to doing something extra, right? So it's all part of the process.
We're learning. You know, working 40 hours a week. I was talking about this with Dylan earlier today. If I had like a full year where I didn't have to work to sustain myself and I could spend all of that time here on the channel, I know like it would be in such a, such a better place right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, that being said, it's like it's not like it's in a bad place
No,
either,
not at all.
But
But it could
like
be
you
better.
just well, you see some of the steps that we've taken and the things that we've been able to do, and just like, wow, okay. So if it feels like in a lot of ways there's a lot more of a direction that we know we have to like move in, you know? And that's a really encouraging thing, because now that yeah, if you took a year off, like like what you would have to do to a degree. Obviously there'd still be a lot of learning, but you at least have like a base to like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is kind of work I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to try to do, um, and who knows where it would be. uh, but we don't currently live in that reality, so
Right.
um, trying to find the time, we just have to be that much more diligent, and we have to work on ourselves that much more to make sure that we can get to that point.
Yeah, it's definitely been a process. I feel like we're learning more and more every day about what we should be doing and what we think is right for the channel. Um, and we've certainly taken inspiration from other channels. Some of the people who inspire me include Game Explain, Alpha Rad, specifically with the way I handle my Smash Brothers content. Um, and then one I've really been looking up to lately are the Easy Allies. I think what the
Mm-hmm.
Easy Allies and Kinda Funny Games, specifically what they do, is ultimately where I want to be. I think I can say that pretty confidently now. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and seeing what they do. They've got their own studio, they work independently, they have a lot of people on their teams, they seem like they love what they do. That's where I want to be, and that's what I want to do. Obviously, I love the idea of having a set. If you look behind me in my video feed, I love the idea of having my own studio space to work with, having all that available to me. But it's more than that. It's about the camaraderie with like-minded individuals, being able to create stuff together, having people who have skills that they fill in the gaps where I don't have those skills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're more audio-centric, obviously, and I'm more video-centric, and we mesh really well because of that already. But there are other areas, too, like lighting. I could be better at lighting, and what I have right now is pretty serviceable, but I know it could be better. Set design is not my forte, but my wife handled that mostly for me.
Right.
So there are areas where I could improve, and areas where I could have people who are skilled support us. In those areas. I've been working on a project for someone who will remain unnamed till it's done. But we were talking about it, and he was looking for someone to help him with a certain type of thing that he wasn't as good at. And it surprised me in the moment, but I was like, yeah, man, I can certainly help you out. And he knows a lot about things that I don't have a lot of knowledge in, specifically when it comes to hardware. So everyone needs help, everyone needs a team, and that's why the Easy Allies are super cool to me. They just did a video, I want to say it was yesterday, or it was earlier, it was a few days ago maybe, where it was Ian and Blood. They were working on installing some like sound paneling in their studio, and it was just a 17-minute video of them just hanging out and putting it together, and I was like, Yeah, man, this is what I live for. That's the kind of stuff I want to be doing.
Both in content and just, oh, hey, we're improving our setup.
Yeah, but they were doing it together.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what it's about, you know? Just finding people to do the things that you love to do together. Because I mean, it's like it's worth infinitely more that way.
Absolutely. So yeah, now you guys have a frame of reference of where we want to be on a personal level. Uh, and we're gonna keep trying to get there. We certainly appreciate your support. Without you guys, we wouldn't be as far along as we are currently. Because holy cow, have we made it quite a distance since we started over a year ago. But this is the Breakdown Podcast, and we have things to talk about, Logan. Some shows we've been watching, movies we've been watching, games we've been playing, and we want to talk about it. So to get us started really quick, since I didn't do a lot of TVs and movies over the last 3 weeks, I know 3 weeks, and I've hardly done any of that kind of stuff. Crazy. But I did watch one movie, and that movie was Captain Marvel. And I guess I'll address it quickly. There was a lot of controversy on the internet surrounding this movie, with a lot of review bombing and a lot
of non-controversy.
A lot of nonsense, really.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel was a really fun time. I've seen people saying it's kind of a run-of-the-mill Marvel movie. And, you know, it's not too off the mark. That's not too far off as far as a descriptor for the film, but it's really fun. You get to see Nick Fury as a younger dude. You get to see Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson. She did a great job. And, you know, I didn't know anything about Captain Marvel before this movie. This was my introduction to that character, and now I have a huge appreciation for Captain Marvel and what she does. But yeah, it's basically I almost want to call it a buddy cop movie between, you know, Captain Marvel and Nick Fury. It's pretty close to that. I've seen a lot of people talking about that first act. It's kind of slow, but once Captain Marvel gets to Earth and she meets Nick Fury, that's where things kind of take off. They are definitely like the heart of the film.
Right.
Oh, Santi says, my parents saw it without my siblings and I also haven't gotten the chance to watch it because of my schedule. Angry react. I feel you, man.
Oh, I haven't gotten to watch it either, so if that makes you feel any better. Not like I'm like particularly oh my gosh, if I don't see Captain Marvel, like my life's gonna end, right? I'll have to eventually watch it before like Endgame, but like whatever.
I mean, Endgame comes out in 5 weeks. You don't have a lot of time.
I'll see it.
It is essential viewing for Endgame, I would say. You definitely want to know about Captain Marvel before we get there. Yeah, I thought it was a great time. She reminds me of Goku in a lot of ways. I'll say that. Go see it.
I will. I mean, I'm in for the ride in the MCU at this point. Like it's not like I can back out. I mean, how many years has this been going on? How many years of our lives have
since 2008? Is that right? Crazy.
Was the first movie technically the Hulk?
It was Iron Man and then the Hulk.
Okay.
I think they came out in the same year.
Okay.
A lot of people forget about the Hulk I'm assuming because it was Edward Norton and now it's Mark Ruffalo. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
But that is still an official part of the MCU.
Yep. I mean, he's still technically, because he's the same Hulk, right?
It's the same guy, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo and Edward Norton are the same person.
Mm-hmm. Yes, biologically.
Yes.
Mark Ruffalo just wears a mask, and Edward Norton is the face that you see when you take it off.
Yeah, I like Mark Ruffalo better for this role anyway.
Me too. I've heard that Edward Norton was a pain to work with because he's kind of like an auteur in his own way. So he was trying to get his hands in the movie a lot more, maybe than an actor should. Not saying that an actor shouldn't be doing that, but maybe in a less aggressive way.
Yeah. I mean, no one person knows all the best decisions, right? So, oh well.
I mean, it's all
Oh
hearsay
well.
at this point, so we can't
Yeah.
comment on it that much. But yeah. So what did you check out?
I mean, it's been a lot of the same, revisiting things.
A feeling I know very well.
Yeah, lots of going to bed to Bob's Burgers.
Heck yeah, man.
A few new episodes, and those are always good. There's always like some really solid, jokes in every episode, and um, like for example, in this latest episode, Gene was fascinated by the algae and the fact that in the evening, if the algae was disturbed, it was also bioluminescent. And so he had to, obviously, he was in love with it, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
And this like yacht club was going to bleach it because they didn't want it there. And then so he protested, and there was that whole arc in there. But it's just, again, like Bob's Burgers is so satisfying. Like I know I've talked about it a million times, like on this podcast, but like it just brings me such like comfort, and it's such quality television as well.
It should, man.
Um, so
Otherwise, you wouldn't talk about it as much.
yeah. Uh, Other than that, like I've been watching a little more Star Trek TNG. Um, I think this one's gonna be overtaking. I think I'll sleep a lot to TNG. And it's like it's the future I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's the future where like the entire human race has like gotten their crap together, and they're like, hey, let's do something cool. And so they go to space and they explore and they discover, and it's beautiful, and everybody feels so enlightened to a degree. Like everybody's just taking care of everybody else. And that speaks to me on just like on a fundamental level. So man, if you don't watch specifically TNG, like the original Star Trek series, give or take, like if you're a nerd, like go ahead. But if you're just like looking for something to make you feel hopeful, for the days to come, watch watch TNG. It's
Well
so
said.
good.
Yeah, I've been on the cusp of watching Star Trek many, many times. It's just it always becomes it always takes backseat to something else. But it's
Yeah.
it's still on that list of something that I'm going to involve myself with in the future. Uh, but I've been involving myself with a different future for the last
Oh,
couple weeks. A show that I absolutely adore, and I know many, many, many anime fans out there also adore. And that show is Cowboy Bebop.
the beboppiest of all the bebops.
I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop since like I was a freshman in college, and
Uh,
that was 7 years ago.
is that seriously 7 years ago?
Yes, Logan, it was 7 years ago.
Stop.
uh, I was taking that Sega survey that Josiah posted in the Discord server earlier,
Uh-huh.
and they were asking what my age was, and I instinctively clicked on the 18 to 24 age range and quickly corrected myself and switched to the 25 to 34 age range and thought a whole lot about my life.
Oh no, it's the beginning of the end. It's a new age
Logan,
bracket.
we're in the new age bracket. This is bad.
We're all dying. My throat hurts. I'm constantly tired. You hit 25 and everything falls apart.
Well, that's why you watch Cowboy Bebop and remember how great anime used to be.
And still is?
Maybe.
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 Depends on the show.
Yeah, it really does. But Cowboy Bebop, what a prolific anime. This series is absolutely incredible. There's a reason people often, call it the greatest anime ever made, because it's super close to being perfect.
Yeah.
From a tonal
Yeah.
perspective, it absolutely nails what it's going for, that kind of like lo-fi future Western vibe.
Yeah.
It's called Cowboy Bebop because main character Spike is a bounty hunter. They travel around on the Bebop starship. Him, Jet, and some other characters in later episodes. But it's just such a chill show with great short narratives. Every episode is pretty much confined. I think there's one or two instances where it's a two-parter, but it's usually like a 22-minute vignette, essentially. And they're super well written. They're all super good. There isn't one episode I've watched so far, and I'm like 15 deep, that I haven't liked.
Yeah. Dream Drop's spouting off about the music, which actually I was going to save that. The music in that series is just beyond incredible.
Can we talk
It's
about Tank?
beyond appropriate. Yeah, man. It's a monument to art and to anime.
It really is. Every single episode, I watch the intro. There are not a lot of shows I do that for, but Cowboy Bebop's theme song is so good. The animation that they did for it is also so good. I absolutely love it. Santi also saying it's the best anime in my opinion. It's oh man. It's been really
It's a
good.
tough one. I feel like it's pretty easy to say it's one of the best. Because I think at a certain point you get to this prestige of art that you can't really objectively say if something is better than something else.
Right, and I agree. But this one is certainly in that category.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. No doubt.
It's also so interesting. I was talking to Dylan earlier again about Cowboy Bebop, and he mentioned that no one ever talks about the sub of this show.
Yeah, everybody watches the dub because the dub is good.
The dub is what makes Cowboy Bebop iconic.
I mean, yeah, because well, I don't think everything other than the fact that like it was at a time where dubs were really wishy-washy, you know? And so for them to knock it out of the park just on every level, including the dub, and it's no wonder this was, considered one of the best, specifically through a Western lens.
Yeah. And I think this is one of the first shows, if not the first, that Steve Bloom did. I can't remember. I need to watch that episode of Talking Tunes again. But this was like the kickstart to Steve's career. Toonami specifically, the way that the block was constructed, with Tom and the ship. It's all modeled after Cowboy Bebop. They went for that vibe. Not quite as lo-fi, but they definitely drew inspiration from that, especially in the final broadcast of the original run of Toonami, because they actually animated a farewell where Tom, he says goodbye to the viewers, and then he gets ready to fly away, and he says, "Stay gold." He gets up in the air and he flies out into the distance, and right before it cuts to black, he says, "Bang."
Bang.
Just like Spike Spiegel, who's also voiced by Steve Bloom, so it's kind of perfect.
Spike Spiegel. I love it so much.
Yeah, super good. This is the first time my wife is watching it, and she really, really likes it. From the first episode, she was already in, and that's when I knew, like, the staying power of this show.
Right.
So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. I think seeing, like, a series that's this well crafted right now has been specifically pretty good for me. It's been putting me in a better mood, I'll tell you that. In addition to that, I've also been revisiting Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion through the rebuild movies. Not quite rebuild movies in the way that Evangelion is, but this is essentially a supercut of the original run of the anime made into 3 feature-length films, all leading up to the eventual 4th feature-length movie coming out here in the States in May, which is the official continuation and conclusion of Code Geass as an animated feature. The trilogy actually changes the way certain events play out and changes the way certain characters relate to one another. because I guess the director of this series is treating this movie trilogy and the next movie coming out as its own thing, separate from the anime. So this isn't canon per se, but it's also canon. It's whatever you want it to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've talked about Code Geass before. I love this show. This is one of my prestige anime, I guess.
Yeah, I've been told by several people on several occasions that I should watch this, and I keep coming back with the same lame joke, which I won't repeat here.
You
Maybe it
better
might
not.
be time. Maybe it might be time to dip into Code Geass.
I've been thinking about this, Logan, and I've never quite pitched the show to you. I've always just told you to watch it. It's very hard to pitch that series without ruining it, and that's why I've been withholding it. But we often get into certain types of discussions that I think you might appreciate that this series does, because it deals with political climate and war and how that affects certain people. The nation of Japan, in the context of this series, has been overthrown by Britannia, and it was stripped of its name. It's been changed to Area 11. The people who live there are no longer called Japanese. They are called 11s by law. And it's a story of these oppressed people and their fight against Britannia. It's super well crafted. The main character, Lelouch, is one of the most dynamic protagonists I've ever seen in an anime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his character arc is really something incredible. You never quite know what Lelouch is going to do, and you get that impression from him from the very first episode. At the end of the first episode of Code Geass, Lelouch is granted an ability that puts him above a lot of people, and there's a slight change in his expression in the very last frames of animation that completely sell you on the fact that you don't know really who Lelouch is, and you're going to spend the next 40-ish episodes finding out what Lelouch's motives are.
Yeah.
And it's really, really an exciting show. It came out in 2006, I want to say, before the HD revolution here in the States, but that did not stop the show from being an HD show over in Japan. So it's kind of
really?
it's a 16:9 series and available in 1080p, but it came out in 2006.
Oh, so it was kind of right on that cusp. Like they were kind of like looking ahead.
Yeah. Japan hit HD way before we did.
Right.
Santi says, I don't like anime about eyes, which is a very targeted joke, which you might get if you start the series.
Here's what I'll do. I will go watch the series. And then I will come back to this point in this particular podcast on today, March 18th, at 8:14 p.m. And I will come back and I will watch this part of the podcast when that's mentioned, and I will laugh.
You will laugh at the joke?
Yes.
I want you to record yourself laughing at the joke. You're going to send it to me.
It'll be like a 10-second clip on Twitter or something like that, like a face cam, and then it's like, okay, the joke is made. It just goes up on Twitter.
Santi says to tag him in it. If you do want to watch the series, I absolutely recommend you watch the dub. The dub is one of those masterclass dubs, if you ask me.
Okay.
It stars Johnny Young Bosch as Lelouch with Yuri Lowenthal as his opposite, Suzaku.
Great
pairing.
Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, this dub is up there with Cowboy Bebop and Full Metal Alchemist for me. It's really, really good. And it's available all on Funimation.
Okay.
I did a lot of anime this time. I haven't done it in a long time, but there's a lot of anime on this list. I want to talk about Dragon Ball Super really quickly, and I actually haven't watched any Dragon Ball Super, but why I'm bringing it up is that the rumor is that Dragon Ball Super is returning to television in July for the
Oh,
official continuation of the story.
so it's still Super?
It's still Super. They're keeping the brand.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that's
Okay.
because of how successful Broly was.
Right.
Apparently,
Well, why change the branding?
the rumor is that production began in October of last year, and that they are giving themselves significantly more time in production, so that they don't end up with the first 26 episodes of Dragon Ball Super again.
Oh, that look like poo?
They
Not
really
very
do.
good.
Yeah. Uh, Once you see like the kind of the like the last season of Dragon Ball Super, you'll really see how far they were able to take it once they, once they were a little bit ahead. Uh,
Yeah.
the other part of this rumor is the fact that Shintani, the man responsible for the character designs in Dragon Ball Super Broly, his designs will be used again for the series, and that is actually the most exciting part of this entire rumor for me. Because if
Yeah.
the anime looks like the movie, oh, it's over. I'm on board. I'm already on board, but like I'm way on
Right.
board. Santi says, no more double left hands. Referencing the shot of Vegeta from a next on Dragon Ball Super moment where he's got two
Yep.
left hands.
I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah, oh my goodness. It's so bad. How did they let that happen?
Yeah, I mean, how many frames of animation would you have to do? And at a certain point, you're like, wait a minute.
You think
I
they
think
noticed and
there's
just didn't fix
I
it?
think they're like, guys, we're already like 50 frames in. We only have like 50 more to go.
His hand's already backwards. You know what? It's gonna cost more money to fix it.
You know what, guys? Heck, let's just leave it. It'll be a meme.
And it was.
Kind of was.
Yeah, so I'm pumped for this. This will be happening right around the time that this dub of Super is wrapping up, I want to say. So my
Okay.
hope, and this is a very strong hope, and I don't think it'll happen, but I really hope that Funimation lands a simul dub for this. Obviously, like it'd be week to week with no breaks because Super ran for 130-ish weeks in a row with no break.
Yeah.
Unlike, My Hero Academia, which they did, but that goes on a year-long break. So I'm going to be hopeful that they can pull it off. Even if they're a few weeks behind, that's fine with me. Because Super ended a long time ago, and the dub is still not done yet. I just don't want that to happen.
Right.
Yeah, but exciting news. Well, not confirmed news, but exciting prospects. And then the last anime I watched, I know my list is long, I'm sorry, is an anime film that I purchased alongside Makia when the Promise Flower Blooms. This one is called Liz and the Bluebird.
Is it about a character named Liz?
No.
Huh.
In fact, Liz and the Bluebird is the name of a story that is referenced in the movie,
Oh.
but it is not
Okay.
the plot of the movie.
Okay.
So they do a kind of this cross parallel thing with the story of Liz and the Bluebird and what the main characters are going through. But essentially, we're dealing with two high school girls who are in the high school concert band. And they've been friends for a long time. When they started the program, they did it together, and they've kind of stuck together. One of them is pretty shy, and the other one's very outgoing. And basically, the premise here is that the main character, I'm sorry, I forgot their names, but I've only watched it once. The shy girl is afraid that the more outgoing girl is going to kind of, slip away as they exit school, and go to college. And she's not emotionally prepared for that.
Right.
And basically, that's the main premise of the movie is how she handles undergoing such drastic change when she's been so comfortable for so long.
Yeah.
This movie, I found out after watching it, by the way, is an extended piece of the Sound Euphonium anime series. Sound Euphonium is about the band itself and all the people who are part of it and their journey to winning a band competition is what the premise is. What's what their goal is.
Mhm.
Um, and this movie singles out two of the characters from the original anime and focuses and does a story focused on them. You don't actually need any prior knowledge of Sound Euphonium to watch the movie at all. I had perfect context when I was watching it. I didn't even realize it was part of something bigger until after I had seen it.
Right.
So this is not even an extension of the plot of Sound Euphonium. This stands completely on its own. This is one of the most beautifully animated films I've seen in a very, very long time. Absolutely incredible art direction. Very bright and airy. And whenever they switch to talking about the Liz and the Bluebird story, like the actual story in the context of the movie, they switch to a different art direction, specifically for those scenes, a more watercolor look, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, it's very pretty. Obviously, it's very music oriented because of the source material. And the character exploration, the character study itself, is one I haven't quite seen in a while. I think Wreck-It Ralph 2 covered the same story, where Ralph was having difficulties, spreading his wings and letting go of Vanellope because they've been friends for so long. But this does it in a very, very genuine and kind of unfiltered way, which I liked a lot. So I would recommend this. It's a very touching movie. And if you are a fan of Sound Euphonium, there will be a Sound Euphonium movie that takes place after the end of the second season of the anime coming next, after the success of Liz and the Bluebird. So that's a quick recommendation for you. It runs about an hour and a half long, so not super long. And I think I bought it on Blu-ray for like $17. It was very cheap.
Okay.
Santi says that's the relatable content I'm looking for. Yeah, that's why I liked it a lot. And finally, I am done talking about anime.
That's okay. Because I only have a little bit of anime to talk about. Keeping up week to week with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They seemingly killed off a character at the end of an episode, but he was also dying when the to be continued thing came up. So who knows? Who knows? Especially with JoJo.
It's a cliffhanger, man.
Yeah, it's just as exciting as ever. I can't wait to. I'm just, Dio has shown his face, not in this, because, but I wonder how else like Dio is going to manifest himself, like in or at all, right? In some of these arcs, because like he's been a central character for I don't know how many arcs, right? And I think this last two, like he hasn't really been talked about, so I'm just kind of like I'm anticipating some sort of return, you know, especially given the context of this arc, which I don't want to go too much into for those who are not familiar with JoJo. But definitely should be familiar with JoJo, because if you're not familiar with JoJo right now, y'all are slacking, and y'all need to get on board because it's time. It's time. Yeah, you need to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like this is a I can't I I can't believe I have to continue to advocate it, and there are still people who haven't watched it.
On my
That's
list too. It's
that's
sitting
where I'm
there.
at.
Sitting there,
It's
man.
so good. It's so good.
Santi knows what happens next because he read the manga.
Of course you did. Of course you did. I'm kind of avoiding the manga. I'm kind of avoiding it.
That's what I'm doing with My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Not that reading is bad, of course, but this is my
Yeah.
preferred way to experience it right now.
So
So I relate.
outside of that, I really haven't watched anything. I mean, there are certainly some shows I want to get back to that I've neglected, including The Promised Neverland.
And Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion.
And Code Geass is definitely up there. Also finishing up Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm still like a little bit behind on there.
Oh, man.
I just need like a 2-week stint again where I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Okay, time to sit up in my bunk bed and
That last
watch
arc,
more
man,
Dragon Ball.
it's a good time.
Yeah. So But again, like outside of anime, it's not like I do nothing. I've been playing a lot of video games. I was playing some Civ 6
Santi
with my
says anime trade. Logan
anime
takes
trade
Gios, Brandon takes JoJo. Deal?
deal. Um, Playing Civ 6 with the brothers.
I've been seeing that
Uh,
every once in a while. Yeah.
yeah, finally getting into Civ 6 after spending over 200 hours in Civ 5. So it's about time. And my brothers are also great. So I actually have all the expansion passes, expansion passes, the actual expansions too, which
Oh, how
on quite a
sweet.
bit. Yeah, it's nice to get the full package.
Right, right.
Outside of that, playing some Smash Ultimate, of course. I've been enjoying playing against Santi. I've been enjoying again playing against my brother, playing against my roommate last night, and him just bodying me. We did like I think 3 or 4 5v5 squad strikes, and the first one it was pretty close. I
Nice,
was like
nice.
I almost took him, but it got worse each time. The last one it was literally like me suiciding all 5 times.
I played Smash yesterday, and you know what I did for the first time in like 3 months?
What?
I went on to quick play.
Oh. See, I don't think I've maybe played like 1 or 2 online matches that weren't in an arena.
I ended up going against this Ganondorf. I was just shy of 4 million GSP with Ike, and he was around 3 million GSP with Ganondorf. Um, and we went for like 13, 14 rounds straight. It's not often that I find someone who's just like so willing to keep playing,
Yeah,
especially
even
when
if
I beat them
right,
too.
right.
But we were having like massive back and forths. And he was overtaking me a few games. I was completely destroying him in other games, but it was
Mm.
fun. I forgot how fun that could be.
Yeah, if you just don't take losing too personally, it's really easy just to enjoy it and also learn from it. Because man, losing, if you don't learn from it, you don't get better. But if you
No, no.
learn how to lose correctly and to learn from it, it can be really rewarding down the line.
Uh, you and I have been playing a little bit of Apex Legends as well.
Yeah, yeah, I've been
Talking about taking losing, well,
yeah. I mean, I'm always down for like more Apex because like again, like you only
so
win so
fun.
often. We've only won twice now.
And we haven't even talked about that second victory.
Oh yeah, yeah. That one was our first PC win.
Yep.
We won on PS4, but finally got that PC win, and that always feels good.
And it was pretty great too. We were playing with our buddy Dylan, but he had disconnected right at the beginning of that round. And you and I, it was just the two of us for the whole
Yep.
20 minutes we were in there.
Yeah, we survived all the way to the end, quite literally.
And I ended up, I think you got downed, and there were two other guys left, and I ended up taking them both down at the same time using my good buddy, the Peacekeeper.
Yeah, man. That was some good stuff. I was like, at a certain point, I had already thought you had died when you hadn't. And I got really disappointed. I guess that was it. But then I was like, wait, oh wait, you're still alive. Wait, did we just win?
I saved that
Oh my
clip.
god! Oh my god!
I saved that clip, and it's super funny. Like, we popped off hard.
Yeah.
You were like, Brandon, you did it. And then I shouted some expletives that I can't repeat here. But yeah, that was super fun, man. I always love playing that game. And the battle pass comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, I was actually. I'm like, well, I guess it's. I think it's about time too.
It's only
especially
$10, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to just drop that on the battle pass because I know I'll play it.
Does buying the battle pass get you Octane, or do you have to buy him separately?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think at the very least, because of the battle pass, you'll probably be earning more rewards. Like every level, anticipating that's how it'll work, right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like, okay, the battle pass will come out and maybe they'll go the route where there's also like a free tier, or maybe the free tier is what we already have, you know. Um,
Oh, like the one loot box every other game or every
yeah,
other
maybe
level thing.
that's like the balance between it, you know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
now we're gonna. So I guess we'll have to see what happens with it tomorrow.
It's
Um,
I'm a little I'm it's so interesting. I've never ever been like tempted to buy a battle pass for any game that has them. But this is the
mhm.
first time like Apex is just really something special, man.
It's just that much fun to play. Like I
Yeah.
don't even care if I'm even that good. Like I'm
I
just
don't either.
I'm happy enough to like I love playing this game, you know. And then because it's only like you only have to find one or two other people to really have a really solid time.
That's
Like
true
it's really
too.
easy to gather people. Yeah. To because sometimes it's harder to gather like 4 or 5 people together.
Mhm.
But 3 people's pretty manageable a lot of the time. So
Uh and you've also dabbled into Titanfall, is that right?
yes, yes. So I had a friend, bless his soul. Um, he bought me Titanfall 2.
That's a very specific
Because
purchase.
yeah, because I mean, why play the first Titanfall when it was multiplayer only? And Titanfall 2, which is supposedly better, and also has a campaign,
Mm.
which was also critically acclaimed. And it, you, it feels a lot like Apex Legends, except it's a little bit slower,
It's
but a
slower.
little bit smoother.
Okay.
It's
Surprised by
it's
that.
not yeah it feels a little bit more like
Deliberate?
yeah, and I feel like it's more crafted for a different kind of experience, especially once you like hop in the Titans, you
Right.
know. But just like the player characters, like I think Apex Legends is a little bit faster of a gameplay loop. Um, Not that like Titanfall isn't a quick paced game, you
Mhm.
know, not to say that at all. I really enjoy a lot of the stuff that is happening. I'm enjoying the narrative. I like shooting NPCs. I'm a big fan of single player campaign shooters. Like, give me more Doom, give me more Titanfall 2. Make it a compelling experience, and man, I will pay for that. And so I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm excited to get back. Most importantly,
Sorry, I
uh,
accidentally hit a button and we weren't up there for a second. My
so
bad.
lastly and most importantly, been playing some of that Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
Yes, me too.
We are back on the Monster Hunter grind. I am leaning into it ever since I bought the game last week. Was it last week?
I think it
Yeah, I think
was.
it's last week. Um, I've put like almost 18 hours into the game, you know, which is quite a bit of time considering how busy my life can be with a 40-hour week
I
job.
mean, that said, it's never that hard to get that deep with Monster Hunter. It just takes over.
Oh yeah, it's really easy. Like, wait, how did 18 hours get thrown in here? You know, and then I'm like Hunter rank 4 in single player, and then also like almost Hunter rank 4 in multiplayer. And
Yeah, we were
so
just before that, right?
yeah, I still need to like focus on building like 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 a whole set of armor and making some better weapons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I feel like I'm still getting like my gears going from kind of being um, spoiled by
By
Monster
world.
Hunter World.
Yeah, no, I've
Uh,
been in the same boat.
like so much so that I was like, well, I guess I have to like go out of my way to download Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate app because I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta look up all this stuff if I'm playing. Um, and it just makes it easier. Whereas obviously Monster Hunter World, all that information is just in the game.
Yeah.
But that being said, I do kind of miss just being able to have all the information at my fingertips at any point. Um, and obviously they probably have one of these apps already for Monster Hunter World. But it would be interesting to have like a companion app that like Capcom could develop or something like that for that game that would include all of this information, but also maybe be able to manage your wish lists in game and it syncs with your game. I think that would be really cool if that were a possibility, because that's more accessibility and more organization is only going to assist in my experience for Monster Hunter. So I just fought Malfestio
He's
on
the
Malfestio.
sleepy boy owl, right?
Yeah, and he does the Naruto run.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So I liked him a lot. I liked him a lot in concept
Until you fought him.
until I fought him, and he was just uber annoying. It wasn't like he was difficult, but man, the amount of times he just like he throws that like dust at you, and then it
Hmm.
like reverses your controls. And then I don't know how many times he like flew out of an area to another area. I get like one big combo in on him, and he flies out of that area into another area, and then he just keeps on
Keeps going.
moving. And I was like, please, please stop. Please stop. I'm not enjoying this anymore. This game sucks. Who designed this monster? Like, that was the point at which I was at.
Yeah, he's a pretty active boy. Um, but it's been nice to go back to kind of the classic style Monster Hunter, and like you said, kind of gain that perspective from Monster Hunter
Yeah.
World and see how things have changed a little bit more closely. Um, I talk about this all the time, but I adore Monster Hunter. To me, it's the perfect multiplayer game. It's you just sit around and you fight big beasties with your buds. It doesn't get any better than that, man.
It really doesn't.
You all have the same goals, so there's like no animosity between the players, and once you finally achieve something, it feels really good.
Yeah, man.
And
I
there's
mean,
so much game in there too.
I I just want to, and I maybe this is one of the reasons I love Monster Hunter, right? It's just the focus on the multiplayer, and in particular the cooperative multiplayer. Like cooperative multiplayer games of any sort are my favorite, right? Even if it's like even if it's Apex, like I would say that Apex is obviously competitive, but to a certain degree it's cooperative. You have to cooperate with, your two squad mates to
Oh,
make sure
absolutely.
that like, you're being an effective team on the field, you know. Uh and so like that cooperative aspect of just being able to like look out for your own and make sure that you guys are all succeeding as a unit. And then everybody feels good. Like I never feel like, even if I didn't contribute as much as I would have liked, especially like, playing online, and yeah, you and Paul already have like really, really great equipment, and here I am with like an iron switch axe. So obviously I'm not contributing as much, but I still like I'm still contributing, and there's still like that aspect of like, okay, we're anticipating these attacks and setting these up so that we are each being as effective as we can be as individuals, and therefore as a group. And it's satisfying. It's satisfying. Give
Yeah.
me more co-op.
Yes, please. In addition to playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, I went to an arbitrary gift exchange over the weekend with some of my friends. That's what we called the party, by the way. And my good friend Josiah, who's been on the show before, he got me these Monster Hunter World figures, by the way. So these are official Capcom merchandise. It's Monster Hunter figure builder figures. The one I'm showing right now is obviously Rathalos, the mascot of the entire franchise. So what he bought was a set of 6 blind boxes. I think it was volume 9 of the figure builder sets, and
Mhm.
So what we decided, since there was a $30 limit on the gift exchange and it cost $60, we went in together essentially. So like he gifted me one half and then he paid for the other half himself. So we split the figures down the middle.
Right.
So we opened them up and decided which ones we liked. That was just one of them I showed you there. This one is super cool. This is the Great Jagras. I absolutely love the paint jobs and molding
Oh
on these guys.
man.
He's got a tail sticking out of his mouth, which I think is super good.
What tail is that?
It's an Aptonoth tail.
It's an Aptonoth tail.
Yeah.
Good.
I just love the detail on these figures. They're pretty tiny, but there's so much going on with them.
Yeah, I'm like kind of superbly jealous.
This is Kuluyaku, one of my favorite monsters from Monster Hunter World, because he's such a goob. He even comes with an egg. Or
He
a
goes
rock.
with an egg.
So if you want
Makes
to
me...
if you want to
Yeah.
switch between the egg and the rock, you can just pop them right into his arms there.
I'm so upset that I don't know what happened to my Monster Hunter shirt that I bought not too long ago.
Your Odagaron shirt?
Uh-huh.
No. What did
Yeah,
you do?
I don't know. I don't know. Something's just disappeared.
And then this is my last figure. This is the special rare Anjanath figure. So there was a regular Anjanath figure as well, but in each one of the 6 blind boxes was one piece of this Anjanath that you could then put together, and they gave you an extra stand for it. So like I said, there were blind boxes, and Josiah and I got the entire set.
No way.
So he ended up going home with Puke Puke, regular Anjanath, and Zora Magdaros.
Oh.
And Zora Magdaros was huge. He is a
so
chunky
that
boy.
figure was just bigger.
Oh yeah, no, it was
Oh.
big. Like he
So
took
that was
up
the
the
trade-off. You got the special Anjanath, and he was like, "I'm taking Zoro Magdaros."
well, like he let me pick which ones I wanted, and I wanted to make sure he got some of the cool ones. I know he loves Puke Puke, so I just let him have that. He knows I love
Right.
Rathalos, so I took that. And then we both ended up with an Anjanath, so it was just a
Right.
matter of like, do I want Great Jagras? Do I want Kuliaku? And those are the ones I decided to get. And I gave him the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
He and I decided that we're just going to continue to do this with the volumes that come out in the future.
Okay.
So we're just going to split it down the middle and then, decide which monsters we want to keep.
That
They're
sounds like
so detailed, man.
good deal.
They really look nice. I've wanted Monster Hunter figures for a long, long, long time. And I haven't been able to get them because they're so expensive. But
Right.
I probably wouldn't have ended up with this gift if it hadn't been for the fact that we've been on this Monster Hunter kick. So timing worked out really well. I love this.
Yeah.
Thing. Love it. Yeah, man. Monster Hunter's so good.
It's really good. Like I'm so hyped for Iceborne.
Oh yes.
So it's good. It's gonna be a good time for all those who haven't dug into Monster Hunter World yet. You're gonna want to pay attention.
Absolutely. We're probably going to be streaming Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I would imagine that's going to be a core piece of our content once that game comes out. And it's coming out in the fall. Is that when it's slated for?
Yes. Yeah.
They teased us with Nargacuga, so Nargacuga is one of the monsters that will be coming to Iceborne. Multiple areas. Obviously, one of them is going to be ice-based. Maybe they'll all be ice-based. Who knows? But they also released this image for the 15th anniversary of Monster Hunter, which is currently being celebrated by Capcom, that features all of the flagship monsters throughout the series, but with like really high-definition Monster Hunter World type models. Which makes me wonder if that's the cast of monsters who will be joining the fray in Iceborne. All of the flagships from the past. Which would mean my boy Lagia Cruz is on the way back, and I love that monster. Yeah. Who knows?
I'm excited to see what mons are coming back, what new mons are there, and how many in total.
Man, it's so weird to think like this is the 15th anniversary of Monster Hunter, and I've been a fan since Monster Hunter Tri, which came out in 2009, which was only 5 years into Monster Hunter's life.
Hmm.
So I've been a fan of Monster Hunter. This is my 10-year anniversary as a Monster Hunter fan.
It's pretty
That's
exciting.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
I I'm baffled actually. Because Monster Hunter still feels like it's a brand new series to me that I just got into, but I've been playing it for a decade.
Yeah, I mean, even with me, like I didn't get started until like Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and so like it was
Yeah,
still in like the third generation cycle when I got around to it. But even then, it feels like forever. Like how many hours? I honestly, I probably have more hours in Monster Hunter than any series, uh, uh, any other series at all.
yeah, I can say that with 100% confidence. Monster Hunter Tri on Wii, over 1,200 hours of gameplay.
It's a
I
lot.
I still don't to this day I don't know how I got that much. There's only 18 monsters in that, and there's like 92 in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
Yeah.
Man, what a wonderful series. I'm glad we could sit here and talk about how much we love Monster Hunter because I'm
What a
sure everyone in the
wonderful.
Discord gets annoyed when we go on these Monster Hunter rants.
I hope so, and I hope they they heed our words.
Yeah, I mean, with Iceborne
And
coming out, it's the perfect opportunity to get in if you haven't been.
it's time to convert the
And
non-believers.
we had a guild, right? Because they Monster Hunter World introduced the new like Gathering Hub guild system.
Yep.
So there's a guild for the Break Room Arcade already in existence that you guys can join, and we can all hang out in the Gathering Hub together and go on quests. Up to 16 players at once, man.
Yeah, it'll. I can't wait. It'll be a
Yeah,
good
I'm so
time.
excited. And we have a Monster Hunter game to tide us over until the next Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, I have about 200, 300 hours left at minimum.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's going to take us a while to get through Generations Ultimate. It is a
Yeah.
meaty, meaty game.
Yeah, I mean more so than even Monster Hunter World, which I put like I don't think I hit Hunter rank 100, so I didn't technically get like the last urgent
The
quest in
final
Monster Hunter.
quest. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I
but
100%ed everything except for that final quest because I'm like Hunter rank 70 or something, and I was just like I don't have the time to get out that far. I mean,
yeah,
they added the Lunastra hunt, which I haven't fought yet. The Witcher 3 content, which I haven't played yet. Kind of
oh, same.
saving that for the lead up to Iceborne, and then Arch Tempered monsters. I've never even fought one because all this stuff was added way after I was already kind of moved on.
Right.
But I'm glad there's so much there to jump back into, leading up to the weeks before Iceborne comes out.
Hmm.
I'm thinking like 2 or 3 weeks before Iceborne is out. That's when I'm going to jump back in and just kind of get my bearings again.
Yeah, maybe cover that ground between level 70 something and 100, You're like finishing the final thing and all of a sudden the update goes out and you're downloading Iceborne and you're playing that night.
I know like the conversation around DLC is usually pretty volatile and controversial. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. If this DLC pack is $60, I won't. I'll buy it in a heartbeat. I don't care.
I'm hoping for something a little more reasonable. I'm anticipating like 40,
It
like
will be
honestly,
expensive,
I think it'll be pretty expensive, but that's what I'm
but you're
anticipating.
you're you're probably getting twice the content that's in World already, and that game.
You can get it a lot cheaper than what it launched at this point too.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, we went blank for a second there. I just got a connection, a notification that OBS Studio had disconnected, and then it just told me it was reconnected. I've never seen that before. That was a brand new
weird.
experience for me. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us this week, guys. Once again, thanks so much for listening. I know that we've been pretty inconsistent with the breakdown podcast. It's just been hard to schedule. Uh, oh yes, Santi, thank you so much for reminding me. this Saturday at C2E2 in Chicago. I will be there repping the Break Room Arcade. You can come and see me if you're there. I'll be there pretty much all day. Rogers Base, a good friend of ours, is going to be hosting a panel that evening. I think at 6:30. Etika will be there, which is super cool if you like Etika. I love Etika, so I'm down. I'll definitely be going to that, so if you catch me while I'm there, definitely say hi. I'd love to see you. Yeah, thank you, Santi. I nearly forgot all about that. We owe you guys a Nintendo Stuff podcast. We unfortunately had to cancel last week's show. I know we didn't tell anyone, and we need to be much better about that.
Maybe
I was going through some pretty intense family stuff, unfortunately. So I just kind of got pulled away from the internet for a few days. But that's over, and I'm back now.
Life happens.
Life happens. So yeah, we will be back with the Nintendo Stuff podcast on Friday to talk about all the Nintendo happenings. There is a Nindy showcase happening this Wednesday, so we will definitely have plenty to talk about. Unlike last week, where we really didn't have anything at all to talk about. Like, really though, like looking back at the news, there was nothing. That was a dead week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that covers everything. If you want to help support the show, liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel, it definitely helps us out. Follow us on podcast sources. If you want to really help the show out and, make this our full-time jobs, you can head on over to Patreon, donate as little as $1 a month, and, we'll love you forever. We will kiss you in our dreams at night if that's something you're into, and if it's not something you're into, I retract the statement. But only for you specifically if you're not into that. If you are into that, still stands.
Yeah.
If you want to keep up the conversation with us, you can follow me at Babababs on Twitter. You can follow Logan at LoggyDoves on Twitter. You can follow us as a collective at Breakroom Arcade, and you could join our Discord server, link down in the description below, where we chat about all kinds of stuff all the time, play video games together. It's a really fun time. Sometimes I will stream Smash Brothers and leave it open to fans to join. So if you're in the Discord server, it's a lot easier to know when that's happening. Because what I usually do is I go in the Discord server and I say, hey, anybody want to play Smash Brothers? And then suddenly a stream starts happening. That's kind of how it goes as far as that's concerned. So definitely do that. I want to once again thank OP Seat for making my butt feel good. Just got my chair from them a couple days ago. Yeah, it's super comfortable. We have an affiliate link down in the description below. You get $10 off your own purchase of a Master or Grandmaster Series chair. They come in a variety of colors, and they're super comfortable. Highly recommend it. They officially support esports teams or esports organizations like NRG. So, they know what they're doing over there at OP Seat. And I think that about covers everything. Logan, is there anything I've missed? I know I'm talking a mile a minute when I get going.
I don't think so. I think that's everything. If it's not, you guys can let us know in the Discord afterwards. The link is in the description below.
I will fix the chat for next week. Sometimes it just breaks. I don't know. Can't fix it. But that happened, so sorry. Until then, we will see you next time. I'm going to roll a quick stinger for our friends over at OPC, and then we'll close out the show. So we'll see you guys next week. Don't break your backs, breaking the games, but for now, break time is over.